Don't let these negative reports affect your thinking. Do not think that because someone else has made the decision to quit, that it's time for you to quit. Hello, I found an article that I would like to share with you today. The headline reads, "After 6 years of teaching, I quit my job. Here are 5 things I wish I'd known before I chose this profession." This is posted on Business Insider, and the date is January 6th, 2025. Now, initially, I recorded a reaction video and actually just didn't even get through the whole recording because as I started to get through the reasons that this teacher says, or the things rather that they say they wish they'd known about the profession, I said, I need to approach this a little differently because I don't necessarily agree with some things that are said. And as a matter of fact, I think that there is a whole other issue that needs to be discussed when addressing this. So let's take a look real quick at the issues that are brought up in this article. So it begins by saying, "I had a lot of good reasons for deciding to become a teacher, including job security and setting a good example for my son. But after 6 years of teaching junior high and high school English, I'm leaving the profession for good. It's not because I think I'm a bad teacher, but because it has taken me some time to accept that teaching just isn't right for me. And here's what I wish I had known before choosing this career." So let's take a look at those briefly. So the first thing that they say they wish they knew is that the part of teaching that mattered most to me wasn't valued. So this ex-teacher goes on to say that they were evaluated based on classroom management, curriculum pacing, and testing scores. But rather, the reason they became a teacher was because they wanted to make an impact on students. And as it says here, I always put the impact I knew I was making with my students' self-worth first. That wasn't what my job performance was evaluated on. So a teacher, went into education expecting for the job to be about one thing, and it was about something else. So the second reason is that teaching proved to have a poor return on investment, and they're essentially saying that they had to pay a lot of money for schooling to become certified, and ultimately they decided that the return on investment wasn't there. They weren't making enough money to recoup the cost that they use to pay for schooling and whatnot. The next thing here says you shouldn't have to plan your life around your job. It says, "Not only had I spent so much of my past on teaching, but many of my plans depended on being a teacher too." It says, "I wanted to have the privilege of teaching at my son's future middle school so I could keep a watchful eye on him. Middle school is a pivotal time for a young person, yada, yada, yada." So basically, they ended up planning their life around the job and making decisions based on where they were teaching, things of that nature. It says here, "The breaks were nice on paper, but I was too burned out to enjoy them." So in here it says, "A major part of why I became a teacher was because I wanted to have the same schedule as my son." As you can see here, one of the common themes that is in this is that this teacher became an educator because I guess the relationship that they had with their son and how they thought their schedules would line up. It says here, "I like the idea of having secured time off throughout the year that I wouldn't even have to ask for." Excuse me. "The problem became that I was so burned out from a day of teaching that I felt as if I could barely show up for my family at home most days." Yeah, I mean, teaching does take a lot out of you, but you do get those longer breaks. She or he, it doesn't really say, I don't know whether they were, what gender they are. But it says, when those breaks finally did arrive, all I wanted to do was rest, not travel. And the last thing it says here, that the job made me sick, literally. And this cites stress. They say, I felt that my body was begging me to take care of myself and make some changes. All right. So you've got all these reasons, and let me recap those one more time. The part of teaching that mattered most to me wasn't valued. Teaching proved to have a poor return on investment. You shouldn't plan your life around your job. The breaks were nice on paper, but I was too burned out to enjoy them. The job made me sick, literally. Okay. And they're excited for their future. And that's great. I'm glad that this teacher is transitioning into a new career or field and is possibly going to find something that better aligns with their interests and is more fulfilling. But what I want to say about this, and why I stopped my reaction video, is because something that I see in this is what a lot of teachers experience, and that is disillusionment. I think that the job of teaching has been romanticized in some ways through media or television, movies, books, things like that. I remember watching back in the day Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams, and it was like this very profound movie about a teacher that impacted or had a great impact on students. Another movie, I think it is Lean on Me. I'm not sure, but it's the one with Morgan Freeman, and he's a principal, and he goes in and cleans out the school and makes it this great place. You see a lot of movies like that with teachers that come in and they have this impact. And what those movies don't show you are like the actual day-to-day tasks and things that teachers have to do on the job. It is a job. You're working with students, and it can be a lot of fun, and you do get to develop those relationships and have big impacts, meaningful impacts on students. But at the same time, it is a job. It is going to wear you down in some aspects. You are required to do some management, some managerial tasks. You do have to meet some performance standards in the same way that a salesperson would need to hit sales targets. Teachers have to meet student learning targets. So what I see in this is that this is an example of a teacher that got into the profession thinking that being a classroom teacher was going to be about one thing, and years down the road they realized that it's a completely different beast. And that's okay, and that happens to a lot of teachers. I know a lot of teachers who they get in the first few years, they're like, I don't know what I signed up for. Like, I don't know if this is what I wanted to do. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And that's understandable. That's understandable. I've gone through that phase, I guess you could say, of just being like, this is a whole different thing. I think, from my first year teaching, like going in and just thinking I was going to get up there and just teach content and teach English to students. That's not how it is. Yeah. So I had a reality check there as well. And, this article, these articles come out all the time. And you see teachers posting videos about why they quit. And I love watching those videos. I think it's a lot of fun because I love to hear their perspectives on things like this. And you see a lot of news articles that cover this same topic and are about teachers that quit early on in the careers after 6 years here in this case. And I get it, but the point I want to make in this video is that this is a case of disillusionment. A teacher just realizing that it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and they decided to get out. But not everybody is like that. And don't let these negative reports affect your thinking. Do not think that because someone else has made the decision to quit, that it's time for you to quit. What you need to do, and this is for people who are considering going into the field of education, and for those who are already in the field of education. You need to be proactive. You need to research. Now, I encourage you to read up on articles like this. I encourage you to watch videos from teachers or ex-teachers who talk about why they quit. I think that's a great thing so that you can be prepared for the path ahead. Because there are some things about teaching that you are not going to learn in a classroom, in a pre-service teacher program. When you get there on the job, it is a much different thing. When you are in a classroom dealing with all these personalities, there is no formula to run a classroom. There is no formula. And as a matter of fact, as soon as you come up with a formula, someone's going to come and break it. Administration is going to come in and you're going to be called to a meeting on the spur of the moment, or you're going to have this task to do or this. Sometimes it can be chaotic, but not all schools are like that. And different people have different resiliences. Different people have different motivations for going into teaching. And you can do it. So again, my point, you can become disillusioned with teaching if you're not prepared for what is ahead. Don't let these kinds of reports discourage you from being a teacher. And prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Just know that it's coming, that this is all part of the job. And for all the problems and all the challenges that you will face, teaching is still one of the most rewarding careers that you can pursue, that you can get into. So don't hesitate. All right. So that is my perspective on this article. Just something I want to say. Like I said, I was going to give a reaction to these reasons, but as I went through this, I said, this is a whole different thing, and I have something else to say, and so that's why I made this video. Now, you may disagree with me, or you may agree. Either way, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. So please let me know, what do you think? Is this a case of disillusionment? Have you experienced the same things as this teacher? Did it, lead to you quitting the field? Whatever the case is, I want to hear what your thoughts are. So please let me know in the comment section. Also, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. That's all that I have for you here in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.